Hi everyone, I am Yuvika from Rental Scale Up, your go-to source for short-term rental news and insights, hopefully. I'm back again with another episode of our founder and property manager interview series. This is episode 3, and I am delighted to have with us Daniela Darren, a really early member of the Rental Scale Up community and has been with us throughout. We've seen her growth and her trajectory, and it has been incredible to witness. So I'm really excited for her to share her story with you and her tactics, her strategy, what works for her, what doesn't. So you might find some inspiration or just community and perhaps see yourself in her story. Hi, Daniela, welcome.
Hello, Yuvika. Thank you very much for having me. And thank you very much for providing one of the two industry newsletters I read eagerly every week. The,
Yeah.
the, the community you've built has grown probably more than I've grown with my business because ever since Thibault started that newsletter many, many years ago, it's grown into a huge community and it's a delight to see you growing. I love to see people growing.
Thank you. And the feeling is totally mutual. And as you can see, Daniela is a pro for not having mentioned the second newsletter. So I'm really excited for this episode specifically because, like I said, we've been able to witness her growth firsthand and we already know her story. So it's an exciting thing to be able to share that with a larger audience. But before we get into all of that, let's learn who you are, Daniela, a little bit about your early life and what actually got you started in the business of short-term rentals.
Yes, because the people in the short-term rental industry know my story probably since 2020 when the world stopped and I started to have time to actually engage with you all. But my story starts way, way back then. Because you can see from my wrinkles how old I am. So basically, really, my story, I could say, well, my Vincenzo and my story, our John's story, started in 1996 when coming from two different parts of Italy, we meet in London one summer that we were both very bored with our life. So we both say, okay, let's go to London and live an adventure. 3 years later, we were bored of rain and cold. So we relocated to Marbella. And after spending a winter in this beautiful beach here behind me, we decided we have to make a way to live in Marbella because we just wanted to live in t-shirts all year long. Vincenzo is a chef. Well, before being a chef, he was an economist. Then he turned himself into a chef because he couldn't be done with corporate life. So we decided to open an Italian restaurant called the Italian Kitchen. And it was our very first venture together in 2000. Alongside, I couldn't speak a word of Spanish. So I went to work for a real estate and become an investment real estate broker. We used to go to England and Ireland to real estate fair and sell holiday apartments to English and Irish people. Then they would come here, we would show them a plot of land, and eventually sell them the apartment. So this apartment kind of changed hands 3 or 4 times from the moment they bought it to the moment they actually signed and it was ready to be lived in. So this is when I learned that the tactics and the tricks of real investment broker and investment to maximize the ROI of each property. Then short-term rentals here in Marbella has always been a key part of real estate. So the properties we had for sale and were available in the summer month or in the Easter, we would rent to holiday renters. And so it was like it's a very little side of real estate. Then in 2008, the world stopped for the first time. Marbella was dead. There was absolutely nothing moving. So all the inventory we had, we put it on short-term rentals because nothing was selling. So at least these poor owners could make some money because the crashes was like big, big, big. And then holiday rental kind of starting getting into fashion around 2009 and 2010. And this is when a lady that was retiring in this apartment block, the School Apartments Marbella, she said, okay, Daniela, do you want these 15 apartments? She was a neighbor and a client of the Italian restaurant we had. So she said, take them on because I just don't want to do it anymore. So I said, okay. So we started working with those 15 apartments, grew to 30 organically in 1 year. And somebody else that had 70 apartments here said, okay, No, he had 40. He had 40 apartments. And he said, okay, you're doing it so well. So I'm retiring and here are another 40 apartments. So overnight, from 30, we went to 40. This was when the bookings were taken on notebooks and then Excel sheets. So it was absolute madness. So the first lesson you should learn from that is you have to grow organically. Don't over double your inventory overnight because you'll go crazy. Probably now is a bit easier because we have PMSs, we have channel manager, and we have all the tech. But back then was, I mean, I didn't sleep 6 months, and usually I sleep very, very well. And then so we kind of kept it going between the 70 and the 90 units up until the war stopped again in 2020. So we used to have about 7-8 months season. Then every year it would grow another month. So in 2020, when the war stopped, we had 9 month season, which was very, very good for a beach destination like Marbella. But it was purely leisure. We had like retired people in winter, families in summer, couples, golfers, groups. And then in 2020, the war stopped and everybody went home, except from about 15 apartments that they spent lockdown with us. And a lot of us had to keep working. So we would all sit out in balconies, sunbathing and working away on the computer. And this is how the office with a view trend started to put it on LinkedIn, on Facebook. This is when I met you all online. And you were all looking at gray sky. And I was like, okay, look at my office with a view. And this is how the remote working and digital nomads trend started. People started to see this, okay, if I have to work from home, I can work from any home. So this is how we incorporated our second ideal guest, which is the digital nomads and remote workers that mostly come to us in winter or spring or autumn. So now is an ideal time of the year for them. Well, for us, I would say, because we're of the original digital nomads. And then in summer we keep having the families, the groups of people, multi-generational travel as well. And for the last year and a half, we've started incorporating our children, who are now 19 and 21, and a nephew who's 23, into the family business, because Vincenzo and I are not spring chicken anymore. So we have to ensure the continuity of the business. This is, in a very nutshell, our story.
This is
I
such
don't
a
think I
fascinating
have
story.
told it before. Very few people have heard this before.
Actually, shockingly enough, I've known you for years, and this is the first time I'm actually hearing the story from the very beginning, because I only have context from since COVID, and we were actually looking at how you had pivoted your marketing
Yeah,
to appeal to digital nomads who were
yeah.
looking for like slightly longer term stays. So this is really educational for me. I'm glad to get to know you better and your motivation better and your background better, Daniela. And also, it would be a grave mistake. I realize I did not mention this in the beginning, but yes, Skoll Apartments Marbella is the name
Yes.
of Daniela's business. And that's what you see in the background, right? That's what your
Yeah,
background is, isn't
that's
yeah,
it.
this is
Yeah.
not just a random picture. Yeah.
No. This is what I really have. This is what I'm looking at the moment, actually.
Yeah. But this exact knack that you have for branding by sharing your life, sharing your reality, has been very key to the growth of your business. And you've utilized
Yeah.
two platforms really well to achieve this growth. So you've successfully used WhatsApp and Instagram in your business to great degree. We've actually had an article on our on Rental Scale Up for those of you tuned in, if you want to read more about how Daniela has used WhatsApp in her marketing, you should definitely read that. But right now, I would love to find out what inspired you to use these platforms, and how have they changed the way you connect with your guests, especially digital nomads.
So we've been established a long time, and so we have 85% direct bookings, because when we started, it was all direct bookings. We started way before. I think only holiday lettings was there, and home away. So I'm talking like 20 years ago. So all the bookings were direct. So we still maintain 85% direct and 65% repeat. Of those repeats, they've been repeating for probably 15, 20 years. So over the years, we've been establishing relationship with them in person. What changed during COVID? We had to bring this relationship from offline to online because these poor people were kind of desperate. Oh, we won't be able to come to Marbella anymore. And I felt that what they needed, it was a cheering up. It was a message of hope. So this is when we started keeping in contact with our guests during holidays, because before it was like, I see you once a year. How are you? Oh, the children have grown up. Somebody's gone to university. The other one got married. My daughter is pregnant or whatever. Oh, I'm pregnant with another baby. So we were seeing our families grow from one year to the next. The July people, the August people, the winter people. It was just only a yearly business. Before they would go home, they would say, same time next year. 3 days before, I'm coming. And there was like a once a year relationship, a long time relationship, but only a once a year. So these people started to reach out to me in a very desperate way. So I said, okay, we need to keep cheering them up on a daily basis. So this is what we did. We brought our relationship online, daily post on Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp to keep them in happy mode. Then 2 years later, the world came back to normal, or whatever we now know is normal. Let's accept it as it is. But we keep the contacts with our guests in between holidays because they like to be in contact with a small community that is the Skoll apartments and the bigger community that is Marbella. They like to know if there are new openings of bars and restaurants. So our ideal guests, as I said, are digital nomads and families, but people that like to come to Marbella for sunning themselves, relaxing, doing a bit of activity like power walking on the beach or doing some paddle surfing. And they like to go out to eat, try different foods, and eating in small local places to have the authentic experience. So they like to know what's happening. They like to know here in Marbella, for example, we have a lot of experiences and activities organized by the town hall. Like we have the Ironman, we have the Marbella Half Marathon, Marbella 4-day walking. You name, I mean, Marbella fashion show. You name it. I mean, there is something every week. Actually, every week you have 2 or 3 different things to choose from. And these people, they like to see what's happening because they feel they are in contact. They're in love with Marbella, so they like to be in contact. This is what we do on social media. And the difference between Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp is that WhatsApp is a two-way communication and is a much more personal way to be in contact with somebody, because the most personal thing somebody can give you is their phone number. So once they give you the phone number, it's like they are giving you their heart. Everyone is on social media. Everyone is shouting on social media. But on WhatsApp, you can really build this two-way communication and deepen your relationship. So when we send our broadcast video, we send one every week, usually on Friday afternoon. When they're finished their week, they're chilling down. So we're sending them these cool, inspiring videos of the images of our week, like a bit of beach, a bit of old town, a bit of food, 35-second video with cool music. And the response we have from that weekly video is amazing. I mean, they may not respond that. I mean, the most of them, they respond with an emoji. Some of them will respond with a booking. Some other will say, oh, thanks for the message. I'm really looking forward to coming next month. Oh, I really love my holiday 2 weeks ago. Oh, I've sent a video to my neighbor who's thinking about the holiday. So like, you're keeping them happy. You keep reminding them that you're there. So every time they want to book a holiday, they will think of you and they will recommend you to the friends, families, neighbors, or whatever. This is the difference we've seen on WhatsApp.
It's always so mind-opening to listen to you talk about WhatsApp, because obviously you have a lot of expertise. You quite literally wrote the book on the subject. Congratulations on your book.
Thank you.
On using WhatsApp for business. Everybody should go and read it. It's packed full of really interesting, quick insights and clear. I love your style. It's very direct and clear. I think it's super helpful to not beat around the bush and just go right into your findings. So I think everybody who reads the book will see that for
Yeah.
themselves. But just as a teaser, maybe you could share some strategies you talk about in your book. That would be super interesting to know.
Well, in the book, what I do, I give you an outline on how to set up the WhatsApp and how to use it to make it a success. But before that, you need to want to get personal in your relationship with your guests. So if you want to get personal, then hit the WhatsApp strategy, like build your broadcast list and start sending out daily, weekly inspiring videos to your existing guests or repeat guests, and combine it with the status, because in the status they are scrolling there all day, because they are on WhatsApp all day every day. So if they see you have a status, they will click and they will be instantly reminded that you exist. So I haven't measured, because I'm not a data person, I'm a people's person, but I can clearly say that our results are very much down to this personal relationship we have with our guests and being in front of them basically all day, every day.
That makes sense. I mean, I understand what you're talking about when you say that you have to prepare yourself, first of all, mentally to be involved like that.
Yeah,
You have to keep this relationship up. It's easy enough to say, okay, let's start sending messages on WhatsApp, but you have to know that there is a commitment
yeah.
in terms of time, but also opening your life up to this community of people. You're sharing with them on a day-to-day basis what's going on around you. It requires it's not without effort for sure. It
Oh
requires
no,
at
no,
least
there is a lot of effort involved,
yeah,
especially at the beginning.
yeah.
Especially at the
But you
beginning.
are a great example. You're a great case study in that when you are ready to put in the effort and you're committed to sharing your life like this, it brings results. So that's good to know. Um, am I hallucinating this, or did you talk? Is there a second book coming about Instagram this time?
No, the second book coming is called The Social Media Marketing Mix, because uh, I think we have, I did a presentation on that scale in Barcelona earlier this year. And so WhatsApp on its own is great. Combined with Instagram and Facebook is fantastic. But if you can throw in Google My Business, Pinterest, YouTube, a nice newsletter, proper branding on your website with the landing pages. We can all make, this is why it's called the social media marketing mix, because one channel sends you to the other. And first of all, is a trust signal, because if people find you on YouTube and they check you out on Instagram and then they go on WhatsApp and then they see your website and they see the same cohesive message across all the channels, the same tone of voice, the same blue behind, the same face, they said, okay, it's a trustworthy business. I can send them a deposit. They're not going to run away with my money. And also, it creates all this traffic between one channel and the next. It creates, it pushes out the algorithm, because if you keep sending people from one place to the other, all the Google and the Facebook, they will understand, okay, there is a lot of traffic, let keep pushing these people.
It creates that
Yeah,
snowball effect because now
yeah,
there's
yeah,
that many channels kind of
yeah,
feeding into what your
yeah,
message.
yeah.
Fascinating. I'm really excited to read your next book also. I'm sure
Let,
there's
let's see.
a lot of good
Yeah,
stuff in there.
yeah. Let's
Okay.
see when I have time to sit down and actually write it, because this morning I sat down and I wrote what I want to achieve in 2025, and I said, "Oh my God, Daniela, you need 48 hours a day." And the idea was to chill out this year.
Well, okay. I wish you luck with that. But it's things always things don't always pan out in this business the
Oh,
way that you plan.
actually, totally never.
I mean, we were talking about this right before starting the
Yeah,
interview,
yeah.
about how
The
you plan to start your day a certain way, but
It turned out completely the other way. And I think that the most important thing to keep in mind for a property manager is to be fluid and to be resilient and to have plan A, B, C, and D, because you plan something in a way, then something comes in between, and you have to adapt quickly and swiftly.
That makes
So yeah,
sense. That's classic
that's the
advice.
first quality. Yeah, first quality. Yeah.
And one that you've displayed time and again. There are many challenges that you overcome using this quality that you have. So maybe shifting gears a little bit, I would like to talk about challenges. Basically, every location has its hurdles and perks, both. But can you talk about like a major challenge you've tackled in Marbella and a unique opportunity that might have helped your business? What makes Marbella short-term rental market the way that it is?
Okay, I'm going to tell you another thing that I don't usually say in this forum. Marbella, this is the pitch I give to guests, or people say, "Oh, Marbella, that is only for 5-star people." Just look at me. Marbella is a worldwide known luxury destination. Everybody has heard of the super yachts, of the super brands. We have brands in Marbella that are nowhere else in Spain. And everybody thinks that we drink champagne and eat oyster and sun ourselves all day long. But there is a Marbella for everyone. The beauty of Marbella is that you can go out for a meal for 10 euros or 10,000 euro and every step in between. But because everybody in everyone's head, Marbella is luxury, our niche is normal apartments for the medium class. You can read across all the channels I've mentioned before, but you will never find the word luxury in our market. Our niche within Marbella is normal apartment for normal people. Nobody advertises that.
And that's what sets you apart. That's your advantage too.
That's our niche. That's our niche, and also we're very well known as a destination for the wild parties, exclusive parties, nightlife. Do you see anything of that on my Instagram? No, because I don't want to attract the party people. Because this place has to be kept as a familiar residential kind of resort, let's say, where people can come, chill out, the kids can play, and we don't want to attract the party goers that start screaming at 3 o'clock at night. So what you have to project on your marketing is what you want to attract.
Yeah,
I would love to attract people that love to do yoga and drink green smoothies, but that's another story.
Maybe you could make this happen because you did. Like, yeah, this is such an interesting.
That's not going to happen because all our guests, they like to eat and drink as much as we do.
Okay, well, a fair compromise then, but still a really good story about and a really good example of kind of fighting the perception of a market and how that doesn't have to define what you do. And it's not about, oh, if there is a specific type of guest I want to attract and my market is not known for attracting that kind of guest, it's basically for a different kind of traveler. It doesn't mean that I have to completely uproot myself and go to another market. Sometimes it just means making your positioning clear. What is it that you're offering in this place that normally offers something else? And you've done that. You've carved out your niche in a market that commonly is perceived as something totally different. So really, really interesting finding there also. Okay, so next I would like to know, you've already shared this in like tangentially, we already know what works for you, but if you were asked specifically, what are 3 tactics that have really paid off for your business that you would like to share with others? Obviously, it doesn't have to be, it comes with a caveat. Everything that works for Daniela does not work for everybody else, but we all already know that. So we'd love to hear 3 tactics that really paid off for you and one that maybe didn't work out as you planned.
Okay, so tactics, I would say the first one, be personal and build relationship. That for us works amazing. First of all, because a repeat guest is less work than a new guest. Like it takes, they already know what you offer and you already know what they want. So it's easy and it's quick. And it's also easy money because let's say achieving new guests all the time, if you do Facebook ads or Instagram ads, well, there is money. If you go on OTA, well, there is money there. So it's much cheaper to invest your time doing social media properly than to try and attract new guests. The second one is bringing these relationships online. And what, as I explained before, keeping contact with them in between holidays to keep reminding them that you exist so that they will rebook with you and they will recommend you. That it's also a very, let's say, easy and cheap way to get more business. And then the third one is something that we've been trying now for about 2 years, is keep it in the family. Why? Because Vincenzo and I have been together, probably 28 years. We don't have to speak. We understand each other like that. Our children, we brought them up in a way we taught them to achieve, we didn't give. So it's much better if you don't give them €100 to go and spend, but you teach them how they can make this €100. First of all, they will feel proud. And second, it's better for you. So we've brought them up without knowing. We brought them up in a way that we taught them this business since the day they were born. So now to them, we don't have to talk. They already know what they have to do. So okay, we save time with our guests. We save time with our family. Again, this is working now for us. I'm not saying that maybe in 5 years' time the kids turn around and say, "Okay, we don't want to do it anymore. Sell everything and retire." So this is what worked for us in this moment of our life and of our business. Everything you try for a bit. If it doesn't work, go back and try something different. Don't feel like a failure if what you've tried doesn't work, because not everything works. What didn't work for us? Many small things. We've tried to go into other markets, or for example, like other areas of Marbella, and that didn't work because our focus is here. Our repeat guests want to come to the school apartments or to the building next door or to the building next door. They don't want to go 5 kilometers along the road. And because we are so focused here, we don't have the time and the energy to invest in developing the marketing for another area of Marbella, or maybe another kind of guest, maybe a bit more luxury, maybe a bit more party goers. So this is how we decided to really niche down to this specific area. Another thing, work with the right owners. That is 100% of the business. Like it has to be, you need to work a lot. I guess if it doesn't work, well, they'll go home after a week and they will not come back. But with an owner, minimum, you have to work for a year or a season if you pick them up in spring and drop them in August, for example. But they really have to understand your wavelengths of running the business. They have to trust you. You have to trust them. It has to be this mutual relationship of understanding each other. And many times we've seen a beautiful apartment and a shitty owner, or a very nice person but didn't want to invest in the apartment, and it was like a granny's flat. So it doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And you get stressed, they get stressed. So it's better to really say no with elegance, as a friend who was a coach always say, than to then regret 6 months later. And people never change. If they tell you, this is my house and this is the way I want it and I don't want anything changed, people will come to my house, then sorry, but no. This is a relationship, it's a partnership, it's a business for everyone. So they have to understand that their apartment, their house is a business. And if they're not prepared to make changes or adapt, well then, thank you, but no thank you.
I mean, it makes sense to a lot of mistakes become more expensive because you just spend so much time in writing them instead of trying something new. Same applies for spending time with a difficult owner. a lot of time that you probably are not going to get any returns on. That's great advice as always, Daniela. What's 2025 looking for you? Is there anything new that you're going to try in your business, or is there one thing, one tactic, one strategy that you are taking into 2025 with you from 2024 because you think it's a solid tactic?
Well, apparently 2025 is going to be a difficult year because in the waves of the economy, it says that 25 is going to be worse than 24. In fact, we've already seen a tremendous drop in November. Well, October was extremely good. So from October to November, we've seen this drop. So I'm going to basically stay as we are, continue to train the second generation into becoming the best version of themselves that is possible. So yeah, for us, it's really solidify that second generation thing so that we can start and step back a little bit because there are a few projects we have in the pipeline. One of them is traveling for the sake of traveling and not just getting a day on the side of each conference. So we really want to do some serious traveling. I think it's about time. We never got married, so we never got a honeymoon. We never left Europe except from going across the border to Morocco. So it's about time Vincenzo and I traveled a little bit. So yeah, basically stay the same, stay resilient, stay ready for change, and a few projects that we have in the back and that we're just not ready to talk about yet.
No worries. I'll keep an eye out anyway. You know, we're always watching. But I'm excited for you and I wish you luck. I hope you do get to travel a lot. You've deserved some downtime. You work so hard, all the time. So I wish that for you and Vincenzo both. And I wish all the luck to the next generation of Skoll Apartments Barbea and see what direction it takes. Where can our audience find you if they want to contact you, connect with you, maybe buy your book, get to know you a little bit better?
So you can find me on LinkedIn, Daniela Derin, on Instagram, marbella.holidays, and my phone number is public, so you can WhatsApp me.
Perfect. I will include these links in the description of this recording for anyone who wants to connect with Daniela. Daniela, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. I am so excited for your future, and I hope all your wishes come true.
Thank you very much, Vika. Thank you very much for having me another time. And I wish you an amazing 2025. And I hope to see you very soon in person.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.